Let's get on to our predicted lineup. Ange has been speaking in the press conference, and what is the team news going into this weekend?
So great news, Mickey van der Ven trained this week and is available to play, so that is really, really positive. Obviously, he suffered from that hamstring injury just before the international break and missed the Fulham game, but thankfully it wasn't too bad, and he is going to be available for this game. Richarlison didn't play any minutes during the international break and had a knee injury just before as well. He also missed the Fulham game, I believe. No, he came on, didn't he, against Fulham? He did come on against Fulham.
Sorry?
Richarlison.
Yeah,
but he didn't play any minutes in the internationals. Ange said he had been struggling with a bit of a niggle in his knee, which is why he didn't play during international break, but he did train today and with a view of being available for tomorrow, so that's really positive as well. But the long-term absentees, Solomon, Sessegnon and Forster, remain unavailable.
All right, so I mean, this is probably the cleanest bill of health we've had all season, really.
Don't speak to us.
There was that one game where we had one, and then like the next game, everyone got injured again. But yeah, I probably shouldn't speak too soon.
Yeah, honestly. Wait till after the Luton game.
Don't want to tempt those gods, do I? But anyway, let's get into the predicted lineup. 4-3-3 formation, as per usual. In goal is going to be Big Vic.
Yeah, who else? Pretty easy decision. Vicario obviously has to start, and hopefully he's not too busy in this one. We know Luton like to use set pieces, their advantage, so I'm sure they'll be targeting him. Yeah, absolutely. Right back is obviously going to be Pedro Porro. Look, everyone had a poor game against Fulham, but I thought it was probably Pedro's one of his worst displays of the season, so hopefully he reacts from that. Yeah, he's going to have a tough role because Alfie Doughty is confirmed fit for this game, and he's been a massive player for Luton this season on the left-hand side. He's pretty much their biggest creator when it comes to how many crosses he whips in, how many chances he creates. So Porro has to be wary of that fact to make sure he's not gaining too much influence in the game, because if you allow him, I remember even at the top the game we played against them at Kenilworth Road early in the season, I thought Doughty was giving Porro a real tough time in that game. So Porro's just got to make sure that he's asking more questions of Doughty than Doughty's asking of him. Yeah. Right centre-back, Cuti Romero, and he's going to be coming up against the very aggressive striker they have, what's his name? Carlton Morris. Well, at least it's not Adebayo, who's in great form. It could be a front two of Woodrow and Morris, which they've been doing recently, but it also could be a 4-3-3 with Morris up front by himself. Either way, he's a very physical player. He likes to back into his defenders, likes to use his strength. So we just got to make sure that Romero's on top of that situation, not allowing Morris to gain an influence, and basically allowing Morris to get the ball in his chest, hold up the play, and then all of a sudden get Luton up the pitch. Because if we avoid that situation, it's going to be very difficult for Luton to gain a foothold in the game. Left centre-back, we've gone for Mickey van der Ven, but do you think there's a case for Dragoshin to start this game, seeing as we have a quick turnaround to West Ham on Tuesday? There is a case, but I do think he'll go for Van der Ven. If he's said he's available and he's fit, I think he'll probably go for him, just because he's a safety blanket, isn't it? And I think we just feel a lot more comfortable with him in the team. As much as I do believe in Dragoshin, obviously didn't have the best first start against Fulham last time out, and I think there will be a temptation to just rest Van der Ven in view of playing him against West Ham. But I think if Andrew will think if he can play Van der Ven in both games, he'll do it, and I think that's what he's going to do. Maybe he'll give Van der Ven like an hour or something and then bring on Dragoshin potentially. Maybe if the game's won, yeah. Left back, we're going to go for Destiny Udogie, obviously having a great season this year, and I think he's going to be vital in this game. Yeah, and another player up against Ogbene on the right, who's a right wing back. It becomes a difficult job for our fullbacks when we play oppositions who play with wing backs, because it's always difficult if they play a 3-4-3. Who do you go with? Do you go with the inside right forward, or do you go with the wing back? And that's going to be a decision that Udogie has to deal with, especially with Ogbene, who's very, very quick and has a lot of energy in his legs, and maybe it could be Andros Townsend as well playing on that side. So defensively, I'm sure he won't be worried about the situation, but it's just something to what we'll look out for. But I thought Udogie against them, especially against Aston Villa, was back to his best, so hopefully he gets back to that kind of form. Yeah. In the 6, we are going to go for Yves Bissouma. It's kind of a shootout between him and Bentancur. Bentancur has been away with Uruguay, playing 45 minutes in the second game, and I think he got about 25 minutes in the first game. With him arriving back whenever he did, and Bissouma being at Hotspur away for the whole of the international break, we've sided with Bissouma. Yeah, I think the fact that he's been a player that, when fit, and just trusted him pretty much to start every time when fit. I know he had a poor game against Fulham, and I was actually taken off early against Fulham, but the fact that he hasn't gone away with internationals, Ange will have 2 weeks for him to try and get his confidence back up and get him on the training pitch. So I do think he's going to put his trust in him, and especially given the fact Bentancur's playing with that broken toe, and he's still not back to his best as well, even though he had some good cameos, I thought, against Fulham and Aston Villa. I do think we're going to side with Basuma, but Basuma is going to have to watch himself because he's going to be facing, in my opinion, one of the informed midfielders in the league at the moment in Ross Barkley. I think he's having an astonishing season.
Yeah, let's just hope Basuma doesn't get that frustration again and get a stupid red card like he did in the previous game against Luton. Next up, we're going to go for Pape Sarr, who's been a star this season. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play because every time I see him play, I'm just loving it, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's got a big role to play, I think, more on the ball, in my opinion, than off the ball, because I do think off the ball we're going to be able to contain Luton, in my opinion. But I think Sarr needs to maybe making those late runs in the box, but he needs to making those effective passes in the final third and really help open up Luton, because I think if Sarr's on it, they just won't be able to handle what we've got to offer. I think there's going to be too many ways of us getting through. So Sarr's got a big role to play, in my opinion.
And then alongside him will be James Maddison, who had a really good cameo for England against Belgium. He was involved in everything, got that assist in the last second as well. So hopefully he can take that form into this game.
Yeah, and that would have hopefully done him the world of good, because obviously against Fulham didn't have the best game, was taken off early as well, and a lot of people are saying, is he back to his, is he still suffering from an injury or whatever? All the narratives that come to play when you see a player like Maddison taken off early, but I think that, as you say, the cameo against Belgium, really good assist, and hopefully he can take that confidence into this game and start playing the way he was first 10 games of the season.
I'm just thinking about this now in terms of the lineup in the midfield. Do you think that there could be a situation where he goes Maddison and Kulusevski instead of Sarr to really try and combat beating down that low block and put Johnson on the right?
The reason I say no is because I don't think Luton do that low block. I mean, they will have times where they will be there just because of the amount of possession we have. But Luton are actually a team that kind of goes for you. They do attack and they do leave spaces. So I think this is probably the best balanced midfield to go for this kind of game. I think they won't be able to handle it. If we are struggling, I wouldn't be surprised if he does move Kulusevski into the centre for sure. But I do think he'll start like this.
Well, I guess that was a good spoiler for you guys, because Kulusevski is going to be on the right. And I think he had a successful international break, getting goal contributions in both games. So let's hope he can take that form into this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's been talking about his best position again in an interview over international break, and he's saying that in the future he wants to play what he called the Mazzala role, which is a half wide midfielder, half central midfielder. That's where he sees his best position and his future. And obviously that's quite interesting as to how he sees himself in the Spurs line, because he was asked, is this position his best, not his best position, is this position his position or something like that? And he said no, he wants to play, he sees his future more central and in that more Mazzala role. So I do wonder how those comments will be taken at Hotspur Way, because Ange obviously does like to use him on the right hand side, but I think from a creativity standpoint he needs to be on the pitch, and I think this is the best way to fit him in for now.
Yeah, I've always thought that, well, not always, but in very recent times, I've thought, his best role is through the middle, and I would like to see us, I've said it time and time again, I'd like to see us bring in a right winger and a left winger this summer and move Kulusevski and treat him more as a central player. But having said that, in this game, I think Kulusevski will be vital on that right wing. And also, you look back at the Luton game when we played them earlier on this season, how vital was Kulusevski in that second half when we went down to 10 men. He played up front and he just made that ball stick time and time again, didn't he?
He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
In the number 9 position, obviously, it's going to be Heung-min Son, who as well had a successful international break, scoring 2 goals in 2 games. And he's going to be back fit and firing for this one.
Yeah, he is going to be playing against a back three, so it's not going to be the easiest day for him, but I do think he's going to get some joy. I do think he's going to get opportunities to score, and I'm banking him to get on the score sheet with his unbelievable finishing ability. So I'm happy to see Son in the 9. Obviously, there's a case with Richarlison back fit and the scoring form he was on before he got injured, that maybe he gets the nod and maybe Son out to the left, but we just think that seeing as maybe Richarlison's not 100% yet, Son is definitely the best option. I do think he's our best number 9, so we're going to start him there.
And then to finish off on the left-hand side, a shootout between Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner, which we've sided with Timo Werner. More natural on that left-hand side, where Brennan Johnson has been playing well, has been getting consistent goal contributions as well, but we've just about sided with Timo.
Yeah, another player who didn't go away on international duty, and so I've just got a feeling that the fact, again, he's had more time just to be with Ange on the training pitch, and he's had a bit more of hasn't had to play the internationals and the stressful games like Brennan Johnson had to play. I think he's going to get the nod in this game, but obviously, yeah, Brennan got the nod against Villa and against Fulham, so I wouldn't completely rule out the chance of him playing, but I just feel like just because international break, Werner starts and then maybe Brennan comes in on Tuesday.
All right, well, let's run through that team lineup with you guys one more time. It's Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back, a centre-back pairing of Kuti Romero and the returning Mickey van der Ven, Bissouma in the 6, Pap Matesar and Madison in the midfield, Timo Werner on the left, Deki on the right, and Heung-min Son up top. If this is the lineup, what is your score prediction?
Yeah, I've gone 4-1 Spurs. I think the injuries to Luton are going to hit them hard. They have been hitting them hard, I think. And I also don't think they're the same when they're playing the big boys anyway against the top 6. They've given them all games, but I feel like away from home they're just not the same threat as they are at home in front of their home crowd in a smaller pitch. So I do think being with home advantage, I think we'll take full advantage of that, and I think we will be able to open up Luton on a number of occasions. So I'm going for a convincing 4-1 win.
Yeah, I think that when you look at the way Luton play, I do think they will frustrate us early on in the game, maybe the first half an hour, 40 minutes. But I think once we do break that defence down, I think the floodgates could open a little bit and we could see ourselves scoring quite a few goals. It might take maybe even an attacking player to come on in the middle of the park. Giovanni Lo Celso, who we didn't mention, could be playing a part in this game. Lily White-Rose was mentioning on Twitter today that he sees Dane Scarlett playing a role in this game as well, which I question. But
well, he did score 5 goals, didn't he, in the international break?
He did. It'd be nice to see, but it's not even with the under-21s, it was for the under-20s. So it is quite a low level, let's be honest with that. So I'm going to go for 3-1 to Tottenham. Sim's going for 4-1. I want to know your score predictions in the comments section below.